The infant's cries echoed through the grand, lonely mansion like a plea for mercy, reaching even the dimly lit kitchens where Maria stood scrubbing pans with trembling hands. She froze, feeling each cry pierce her heart, reminding her of the child she once lost and could never hold again. The maids whispered behind her back, mocking her weight, calling her slow, unwanted, and invisible. But Maria kept her head low, swallowing hurt like stale bread. In this household, she was no more valuable than an old broom. Yet something in those cries tugged at her soul, stronger than fear, stronger than shame. She wiped her hands and moved toward the sound, gently. Because sometimes, the heart knows where it belongs, long before the world does. And tonight, her heart was dragging her toward the grieving widower's child, no matter the whispers that followed. When Maria reached the nursery doorway, she hesitated, uncertain if she should enter. The baby girl, tiny and red-faced, wailed in a feverish panic, kicking helplessly beneath silk blankets. Servants moved like cold shadows, avoiding eye contact, whispering about the master's grief and temper. None dared touch the child, afraid of spoiling her or upsetting their employer. Maria's chest ached at the sight, a mother's instinct she never got to use. She stepped forward slowly, whispering soft lullabies learned from her late grandmother. The baby's cries softened just slightly, curious eyes blinking up. Maria's hands shook, but she gently lifted the fragile body. The warmth of the tiny heartbeat against her chest stirred something deep. For the first time in years, Maria felt needed. Just then, a deep voice cut through the room, sharp as a blade. "What are you doing with my daughter?" Lord Aaron Hawthorne, the widower, stood tall in the doorway, grief carved into every line of his face. His dark eyes burned, battling fury and sorrow all at once. Maria froze, her heartbeat thundering loud enough to drown thought. The other servants scattered like frightened birds. She bowed her head, unable to meet his gaze, whispering apologies. But instead of putting the child down, the baby clung to her shirt, tiny fingers clutching fabric. And when the infant whimpered, Lord Hawthorne's anger cracked, revealing something softer underneath. "I can nurse the baby, sir," Maria whispered, voice trembling like a candle flame in a storm. The room fell silent, her confession hanging thick with vulnerability. She knew the rumors, knew how society saw women shaped like her, unwanted, overlooked, pitted. "No one wants a fat girl, sir," she added, eyes stinging. "But I can stay with her, feed her, love her." The widower blinked, startled by raw honesty in a world full of polished lies. He saw not her weight, but the baby's calm against her chest. For a long moment, he said nothing, his jaw tightening. Then, softer than expected, he murmured, "Then stay." From that day forward, Maria became the hidden heartbeat of the mansion. She nursed the baby, little Eleanor, through sleepless nights, fevers, and teething storms. Slowly, the child's fragile cries turned into giggles, reaching for Maria's hair, face, laughter. Some servants sneered, jealous of the unexpected attention Maria received. Others pitied her, believing she'd eventually be cast aside. But Eleanor's tiny hands held her place in the mansion like roots breaking stone. And every time Maria heard those giggles, she found pieces of her broken heart beginning to mend. She sang lullabies no one else knew, filling hallways with warmth rarely felt since Lady Hawthorne passed. Lord Hawthorne began stopping by the nursery more often, lingering in the doorway. He watched Maria's gentle patience, studying her kindness like a forgotten language. He'd ask about Eleanor's feeding, health, sleep patterns, always respectful, always careful. Maria answered awkwardly, trying to keep her voice steady, though her cheeks flushed each time. The servants noticed his softening eyes, whispering even louder. Rumors poisoned halls, aimed like spears toward Maria's back. Yet she endured each glance, because the baby needed her more than gossip bruised her. Slowly, a fragile trust began weaving itself between widower and nurse. One evening, as thunder rattled windows, Eleanor's tiny body burned with fever. Servants panicked, offering blankets and useless suggestions. Maria refused to leave her side, wiping the child's forehead, whispering soothing stories. Lord Hawthorne hovered helplessly, fear cracking his once iron composure. He watched Maria cradle the baby like a sacred treasure, rocking with steady rhythm. When midnight came, the fever finally broke, breath easing. Tears slipped down the widower's face silently. Maria looked up, exhausted but smiling weakly. And for the first time, he whispered, "Thank you." As weeks stretched into months, Maria's presence lit forgotten corners of the mansion. She baked bread for staff, hummed cheerful tunes, and warmed hearts without permission. Eleanor grew plump and healthy, sleeping soundly in Maria's arms. Lord Hawthorne found himself drifting toward the kitchen more often, drawn by laughter that reminded him of spring. They spoke more now, about books, simple joys, grief, and healing. His cold exterior slowly thawed, revealing a man burdened by loneliness. Maria listened without judgment, offering quiet comfort. And in those quiet conversations, something delicate began to bloom. But not everyone welcomed the change. Lady Agatha, the widower's wealthy sister-in-law, arrived one afternoon in towering heels and disdainful perfume. She eyed Maria like filth on silk, making her intentions brutally clear. She announced her plans to become Eleanor's guardian, believing Maria unfit and lowborn. The mansion trembled under her accusations, uneducated, overweight, inappropriate for a child. Maria's hands shook, tears threatening, but Eleanor cried whenever she was pried away. Lord Hawthorne stiffened, jaw ticking with anger. Witnessing his daughter's distress, he stood taller, voice cutting through Agatha's cruelty. "Eleanor needs love, not titles," he said. Still furious, Agatha threatened legal action, promising to return with documents. That night, Maria packed quietly, believing leaving would protect the child. She kissed Eleanor's sleeping forehead, heart tearing with each breath. She wrote a small note, thanking the widower for kindness she never expected. But as she stepped into the stormy courtyard, the front door burst open. Lord Hawthorne sprinted out, soaked in rain, breathless from panic. He grabbed her suitcase, voice trembling. "Don't you dare leave. We need you. She needs you." Maria's resolve shattered, tears blending with rain. Agatha returned days later, accompanied by lawyers and venom. But this time, she faced more than a lonely widower. The staff openly defended Maria, listing every sacrifice she made. Medical records showed Eleanor thriving under her care. And finally, Lord Hawthorne delivered the final blow. He declared Maria not merely the nurse, but family. Shock rippled through the room as he vowed protection legally. Agatha sputtered, furious, but left defeated. Maria stood frozen, disbelief painting her face. For the first time, she didn't feel invisible. Months rolled forward peacefully, seasons changing like pages in a book. The mansion, once cold, brimmed with warmth, sunlight, laughter, the smell of fresh bread. Lord Hawthorne and Maria walked gardens together, talking softly while Eleanor chased butterflies. Slowly, he reached for her hand one day, awkward yet earnest. Maria's breath caught, heart fluttering like wings newly freed. He admitted his admiration, not forced by need but shaped by love. Maria trembled, afraid of hope, but could not deny her growing feelings. Their smiles held promises neither dared speak aloud just yet. One night, during a lantern-lit dinner, Lord Hawthorne gathered his courage. He confessed how Maria revived a home drowning in silence, how she healed wounds no doctor could touch. Tears welled in his eyes as he spoke of gratitude, respect, and quiet admiration. Maria listened, hand pressed to her chest, overwhelmed. He knelt beside her chair, taking her hand gently. "You are not unwanted," he whispered. "You are irreplaceable." The room spun softly, emotions crashing like waves. And for the first time, Maria believed him. Their relationship blossomed slowly, careful and respectful. Gossip swirled like autumn leaves, but Maria learned to ignore it. Eleanor called her mama one morning, her tiny voice melting every wall. Tears streamed down Maria's cheeks as she hugged the child tightly. Even Lord Hawthorne wept quietly behind them, hand over his mouth. The staff